Jasmy fans, it's finally happening. We're starting to see the Jasmy comeback. And I want to talk a little bit about this today and discuss a little bit more about what we're seeing within the market. Now, after months and months and months of feeling like we're not really seeing a whole lot of movement out of Jasmy, we have actually started to see a pretty consistent move to the upside over the past couple, or I guess even several days. So I want to talk a little bit about why this could be, what could be happening here, what could we be seeing in the future, all of that type of stuff, since we haven't really seen or heard too much from Jasmy or the Jasmy team. And that even kind of continues on into today. Hara, the CEO of Junction, has still been fairly active, but the Jasmy Twitter or X account has been conspicuously quiet, which I think is a little bit interesting. So we're going to be talking about all that type of stuff today, tons of stuff to get into. So let's not go ahead and waste any more time, and we'll jump into the crypto bubbles, showing that Jasmy is up about 15% today. Now, of course, we have Conflux, which is up 123%. So maybe a little bit of an unfair comparison there. But other than that, we can see, ahead of, there's only a couple kind of in this realm. We can see WIF, Lido, ENA or Athena is kind of the only one that's leading Jasmy. I guess Litecoin is too technically, if we exclude Conflux. So Jasmy definitely kind of leading the way up today. We can see here in the past week only 21%, which is kind of lagging behind the rest of the market. So we can see that like this move today from Jasmy was definitely a needed move to the upside, which is good to see. So if we look at the Jasmy chart, we'll see a couple of different things. So let's go on ahead. We'll zoom in a bit. We can see we did kind of find those lows back here in mid-April. We are now seeing a higher low come in. And now the really, really important next piece here is we need to see a higher high, most importantly, breaking above this 0.236 Fibonacci level. So we have not gotten back to that level yet. We're going to be sitting right around that 2 cent mark, which of course 2 cents has kind of always been a pretty strong level of both support and resistance. You can see it tracking back several months. So this will be a pretty difficult or a pretty important like next key spot for us to be taking a look at. But if we can break it and kind of establish a higher high and then again have a further higher low, this will be really, really good for us to see. So we'll have to be tracking this. I'm going to be watching it very, very closely over the next little while. If we start to see some rejections, then potentially we enter into more of like a consolidationary type of structure where we would be seeing, kind of lower highs as well as higher lows. And then we need to break to see kind of an outcome from there. So we'll have to see, and we'll be tracking this very closely. But as we can see, there is a pretty clear like roadmap to get back up to all-time highs, and then of course moving past them. So we can see here, 300 or the 382 for the fib level would be 2.7 cents. The 0.5 level would be 3.3 cents, 6.18 about 4 cents, 4.8 cents, and then the 6 cent high that we saw back in December of 2024 is kind of where we would be. And then we have the extensions going all the way up to 22.5 cents. So showing a pretty clear roadmap to see some pretty compelling gains out of Jasmy. 22 cents would be just over an 11x from where we stand today. And it would be about a 25x if you were down here buying in at the bottom. So, potentially a really, really strong move. Of course, we saw about an 85% drawdown here. And then, of course, potentially if we reach back all the way up about a 2,500% gain. So pretty impressive move if you were kind of still holding your convictions and buying in at the lows here. I still do have my Jasmy. Now, of course, it's not a large position of my portfolio. I like to kind of diversify myself between several different altcoins while primarily holding the majority of kind of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then maybe Solana as well. So that's generally how I'm looking at things. But I still have my Jasmy held. We'll see if we can kind of reach some of these highs. If we do, of course, it will be a great day for everybody that had the conviction and held Jasmy here. So we'll have to see how that goes. If you are interested in trading Jasmy, we have the links to both BTCC and BloFin in the links in the description below. If you are interested, both of them really, really great sites. BTCC does a 10% deposit bonus for first-time deposits, as well as up to $10,000 in trading and deposit bonuses in addition to that. So a bunch of money being thrown at you to trade Jasmy there, as well as up to $5,000, I think, in bonuses for BloFin. The other interesting thing that we have with BloFin is there's the Sentinel copy trading bot that has been doing some pretty crazy gains. You can see here annualized ROI of about 317%. That would be a 4x on your money in after holding a year. which is pretty good considering it only trades Bitcoin. It trades Bitcoin exclusively. So if you are interested, you do need to sign up using my link in BloFin. So if you are interested, you can feel free to do that as well. Now, moving along, let's take a look at the X account. We can see a couple of different things. So here we have the Jasmy MGT, the last post here being from June 26th. Past that, before there was about May 26th, and then before there was April. So it seems like, they've been doing about one post a month. Nothing really even too impactful as well. We could see, maybe a roadmap update, which is fine. Then we see a, kind of a post reposted from Junction, and then again another repost here from Blockchain Life, and this is for the Dubai conference that's happening October 28th to 29th. So again, nothing really too crazy or impactful coming from the Jasmy Team's Telegram. However, we are seeing a little bit more from the Junction Telegram as well as Hara. So both of them are kind of remaining a little bit more active with things. And we can see here that Junction will power the infrastructure behind the next gen AI music platform, DAIM or DAIM. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but we can see here, essentially, they see strong synergy, agent-driven creativity, on-chain coordination, and incentive-aligned nodes. Now, of course, this all basically falls in line with what Junction is trying to do. So it'll be pretty interesting to see if we, kind of what comes out of DAIM or what comes out from there. And of course, hopefully some of that adoption does reflect back into the Junction value, which again, then conversely kind of plays back into Jasmy. So we will have to see, still very, very light on news from the Jasmy team. So we'll have to be kind of careful about this and make sure that, we're kind of keeping up with some of the developments. I really am hopeful that as things start to pick up, maybe that the Jasmy team will be more and more involved and they'll provide more updates. It's been a very long time. Should be some work and things that are going on. So hopefully they have some updates to provide. And again, as is somewhat typical with a lot of kind of smaller projects within the crypto space, and as this impacts altcoins more generally, a lot of teams are somewhat strategic about kind of when and where they post their updates, because of course, particularly with something like Jasmy that is very narrative driven, if you post some otherwise incredibly bullish news in the midst of super depths of the bear market, no one's going to know, no one's going to care, and it's effectively going to have zero impact on your price movement, right? Where if you just kind of hold that and stock it up, store it up, and then we get to a point in the market like this where people are paying attention, people are bullish, a similar type of announcement can move the needle fairly dramatically, particularly on a smaller project like Jasmy. So it's very important to kind of understand that maybe the silence has been more strategic than just them not doing anything. But we'll of course have to be kind of tracking this over time, and we'll see. I think we'll have to judge these projects on kind of the stuff that they produce and the merits that they warrant. But right now, we're of course seeing some pretty nice moves coming out from the Jasmy chart, which is of course very good to see. So we'll have to be tracking that. We'll see how it goes. Of course, I will be providing more updates as kind of necessary for Jasmy. With the limited news that we have seen, I kind of stopped covering it for a little while, but it's back now. We're starting to see some signs of life, some movement, some updates, all of that type of stuff. So I figured it would be good to kind of give a catch-up video of what we've seen over the past little while from Jasmy and what we should potentially expect kind of going forward. So if you found the information in the video useful, of course, a like and a subscribe does help. You also can hit the notification button if you do want to stay up to date with all of the daily videos that I'm making, just generally trying to keep you up to date with the crypto market and what's happening. So if you want to do that, that of course helps me, and hopefully will help you as well if you find that valuable. Also, if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, feelings, whatever, drop those in the comment section below as well. I do read and respond to all of those. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.